All right, let's get it. First YouTube video in a while, first Yankees discussion in a while, but could I have picked a better time? I don't think so. Opening day is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday when this is going to be released. They're back. The Yankees are back. For a lot of people, that brings a lot of excitement. That brings a lot of joy. For me, there's a reason why I have not been talking a lot of Yankees on my live streams. If you missed those, you can check them out on this page, on my X account, at Bryce Gelman. There is a reason why, and that is because this is the least excited I've been for a Yankees season in a very long time. And I think there are a multitude of reasons behind that. Of course, the loss of Juan Soto is huge. But the injuries that the Yankees are facing right now, it leaves them a very uphill battle in order to maintain supremacy in the American League and also to get back to where they were last year, which was the World Series for the first time in 15 seasons. That is going to be an extremely difficult thing to accomplish this year. No one is telling you that that is entirely possible this year. Of course, it's possible. Is it likely? No, I don't think so. I think that there are a bunch of teams in the American League, the Red Sox being one of them, with young guys, young talent, who are looking to unseat the Yankees as kind of the king of the AL besides the Astros. It's always been the Astros. The Astros don't look like the same team. So now it's the de facto head of the American League is the Yankees. So I'm going to be discussing a bunch of different things, the biggest players to watch this year, the most important players, and then at the end, I'm going to give my prediction for this season. So let's look at the Yankees' injuries going into the season. Of course, the big one, Gerrit Cole, lost for the year, potentially won't be back until the middle of 2026 with Tommy John surgery. And this is the big blow here. Having Gerrit Cole at the top of the rotation gave, in my opinion, the Yankees the best rotation and pitching staff in all of baseball, even better than the Dodgers, which looks amazing. I believe that without Gerrit Cole, this Yankees team is going to struggle to prevent a large amount of runs scored against them. Because guess who now is the number 2 guy in the rotation? It's Carlos Rodon, who we're only 2 years removed from a season in which he nearly had a 7 ERA, a season in which he only pitched 12 games. He responded extremely. I know this is all about Gerrit Cole, but now I'm getting into Rodon. He's important. Actually, I'm gonna save that for later. But continuing with the injuries, the Yankees are missing arguably their second most important hitter throughout the last 7 years, and that's Giancarlo Stanton, with tendonitis in both of his elbows. Not just one elbow, but both of his elbows. This is a huge deal. A huge deal. The Yankees last year, with Giancarlo in the lineup versus him not in the lineup, were an unbelievably better team. You look at their hitting stats. You look at their record. Overall, much better team. It appears that Giancarlo is going to be out for the foreseeable future. We haven't really gotten a definitive timeline. Not that the Yankees would even give us one. Look what happened with Clark Schmidt last year. He gets his lat strain in at the end of April or May, and there are no updates for 4 months. So I think that this is going to be a similar situation with Giancarlo. No definitive timeline. He's not even just dealing with the elbows. I believe he has a calf issue as well. So there's no guarantees with Giancarlo returning anytime soon. The Yankees are missing, besides Aaron Judge, a power righty in the lineup. They just are. And I do not believe the Yankees did enough in the offseason to get another solid righty bat, specifically at third base, which we will get to. But continuing on with the injuries, and prayers up to Giancarlo, hopefully he's back. Oh, here's a big one. DJ LeMahieu has a left calf strain. I do not know, and again, opening day is tomorrow, why DJ LeMahieu still has a roster spot on this team. I do not understand how this guy has not been DFA'd yet. It has been 5 full seasons since DJ LeMahieu was a top hitter in Major League Baseball. It's been 5 years since he's even been an impactful baseball player. Not just at the top of MLB, an impactful baseball player for the Yankees. We have seen year after year after year whether it be at the start of the year, in spring training, or the first couple of months, or at the end of the year, DJ LeMahieu show up, Aaron Boone talking him up, saying the best that DJ LeMahieu has looked, and lo and behold, he gets injured again. That is what we continue to see with DJ LeMahieu. Again, how he has a job still on this team is beyond me. It really is. Can't rely on him for anything going forward. He's just a major dark spot, or whatever the hell the phrase is, on this roster. So going on, continue with these injuries. Clark Schmidt has shoulder fatigue. He's not going to be ready for opening day. Will he potentially be back mid-April, early May? Yes. He is a massive piece for this team. Massive. Because as of right now, and again, we're going to get to the rotation, we're going to get to Rodon, but as of right now, Carlos Carrasco is the fourth starter. Will Warren, who has looked really good, is the fifth starter on this team. Clark Schmidt looked amazing last year before he had that lat strain. Amazing. So listen, you'd like to get your season off on the right foot, but it appears like that's going to be a difficult battle for him. Because, listen, it's very difficult for anyone, hitters, pitchers, to start off the season injured and then return to the form that they had before they got injured. It's very difficult. So we'll see if Clark Schmidt has that up his sleeve. The Yankees are going to need it. I mean, listen, with him and Luis Gil out for the foreseeable future, I mean, Luis Gil, who knows when he's going to be back? Maybe early July, mid-July, August at this point. So it's going to be very important for Clark Schmidt, to whatever the hell is going on with the shoulder fatigue. Hopefully that doesn't turn into a bigger issue where he's out months or potentially years with Tommy John. Hopefully he can get back very soon because, again, as I said, the Yankees are going to need it. Another guy who's out, Jonathan Loaiza. He's still rehabbing from the Tommy John last year. I expect him back midseason. I don't know what the realistic expectation is with him, or what the real timeline is with him. Listen, I think that Loaiza has proven to be one of the most reliable arms in the bullpen for the Yankees. One of the most reliable guys. I don't think that there's any way to put it. He appeared in 3 games last year before he got injured, and he had the Tommy John. The year before, 17 games. In 2021, he had a 2.17 ERA. 2.17 ERA. 17 earned runs in 57 appearances. I think that's the guy you're missing in your bullpen with Jonathan Loaiza out. So hopefully they can get him back and healthy. Another guy, I mean, listen, this was at the time what was looked at as an amazing trade for Scott Effross in the 2022 trade deadline. The Yankees go out, get a guy who's under control another 4 or 5 years, or potentially longer. I forget at this point. And he needs Tommy John. Within like 2 weeks of the trade, he needs Tommy John. He gets the Tommy John. Last year, he's injured all year long. This year, he shows up to camp healthy, left hamstring strain. Another guy that's extremely hard to rely on. Jay Cousins is also hurt with the forearm strain. Tyler Matzek is also hurt with the strained oblique. You know how tricky obliques are. He may not be back for months. Chase Hampton, the Yankees' top pitching prospect, got Tommy John. Clayton Beeter, shoulder inflammation. So those are the major injuries the Yankees are facing right now. Do I think that these will, I mean, listen, the injuries are obviously very top heavy. The major ones, I think, outweigh everyone else combined in Giancarlo, Garrett, and Clark Schmidt. But the Yankees are going to need, I'm not going to say an impossible amount of production from their pitchers and the majority of their hitters, but they do need, if they want to replicate any of the success they had last year, they're going to need some career years. And speaking of career years, a guy in which we can all look to as being the major breakout on this team is Austin Wells, who will be leading off on opening day. I believe this is the first time in Yankees history that a catcher will be leading off for the Yankees. I do not know how sustainable long term that is. Having Austin Wells, who could potentially be one of your top power hitters, leading off for the team. He's quick. He's got some speed. You know, he's not like the majority of the catchers in Major League Baseball that are extremely slow. He's got some speed. He's kind of quick. Do I think that he's the solution as the leadoff hitter? No, I don't. I really don't. But you look at his spring training stats. 1,263 OPS in spring training. I choose, alongside plenty of other people in the baseball community, to put a lot more stock into the good stats as compared to the bad stats, because I think it's easy to look at the positive and say those can translate. Whereas with the negative stats, you're like, well, it's just spring training. Wait until they get into the groove in the regular season. So I don't know how fair that is, but I think that those stats are undeniable. It's not just that. His exit velos are much better than what they were last year. I believe yesterday, he had a home run. It was 111 exit velocity. So I think that's another thing to watch for. Is Austin Wells potentially not just his exit velo, his bat speed is up 2 miles per hour. So listen, I think that's all fine and dandy. Will that translate to the regular season? We will see. Will he be as impactful as a leadoff hitter to start the season? I don't know. Again, it remains to be seen. Another guy who's extremely important in this lineup is Cody Bellinger, the former MVP, a guy who's only 1 year removed from a 900 OPS season. Last year with the Cubs, 750. Left a lot to be desired. Listen, the Yankees went out. They needed a lefty bat. They needed a high upside, low risk guy, and that is what Cody Bellinger is. If he puts up another 750 OPS season, fine. Like is it really going to kill you? No. But there is the potential for him to at least somewhat return to the form that he had with the Dodgers when he won the MVP, or 2 years ago when he had the 900 OPS. Like, there is a path to that success. And that's why I believe him to be one of the most important guys on this team. Juan Soto is irreplaceable. But who is the guy now in the lineup who is protecting Aaron Judge? It's Cody Bellinger. So, listen, it's essential that he puts up at least an 800 OPS season. The one thing the Yankees lacked over the course of the 15 seasons, I'd say more specifically since Aaron Judge came up in 2017 or 2016, but when he really came onto the scene in 2017, was a power lefty bat. The Yankees finally addressed that need by trading for Juan Soto, and look at the success that they had. 800 plus runs. Aaron Judge, another generational season because he had one of the best lefties in Major League Baseball protecting him. Again, is Juan Soto replaceable? No, he's not. That's why the Yankees had to acquire a multitude of guys in order to replace him. That's why they had to pivot the way they pivoted. So, listen, do I have high expectations for Bellinger? I can't say that I do. But do I have hope that he could turn in one of his best seasons in the past 5 years? Yes, I do. I do. I think he's one of those guys who just fit to be a Yankee. I think he just fits in pinstripes. There are a select crop of guys in MLB history who raised their game in New York. There's also plenty more that completely faltered being in that environment. Pressure is high. Cody Bellinger did play in Los Angeles, which, I'd say it's like the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers. Maybe Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies, Dodgers when it comes to the pressure that the media places on the players and the coaches. So you could say that he's built for the moment. I don't know if he is. I think he's going to enjoy his time in pinstripes. I feel like he appreciates, the legacy that the Yankees have. He appreciates what it means to put the pinstripes on. So we'll see. Another guy who can make or break this Yankee season. The last guy in this crop of guys that I think are just essential. I actually have two more. I forgot. I'm sorry. The second to last guy is Ben Rice, the backup catcher, a guy who I think is going to platoon a lot with Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Paul Goldschmidt hits the hell out of lefties. Not so great against righties. You know who crushes righties? Ben Rice does. So I think you'll see him a lot. He hasn't even been told that he's made the opening day roster yet. I think you could be potentially looking at a trade here. Hopefully it's for an all-star caliber righty third baseman. If it's not, then I don't see why you trade him. He's another guy whose advanced stats have really picked up here in spring training. He's had some of his top exit velocities in his career. His bat speed is up as well. Another guy who could have a breakout season for the Yankees. That's another guy you could look at as saying he's the reason why the Yankees got back to where they did last year. Because, again, as I continue to say here, the Yankees, without Gerrit Cole, with all the injuries their pitching staff currently faces, what's going to make or break this season? It's the hitting. The top of the rotation guys and the hitting. The Yankees bullpen has been solid almost every year of Matt Blake's tenure as hitting coach, as pitching coach. And that will only continue. No matter who is in that bullpen, it doesn't matter. I mean, what he is able to do with some reclamation projects around the league. You look at Clay Holmes. Look at what the Mets are about to do with him. Opening day starter. And Matt Blake does not get enough credit. He gets a lot of credit. He doesn't get enough for making work with what little he has had. Last year, solid staff. Still did extremely well with a guy like Luke Weaver. So I think that you get offensive production from those three lefties, and then this last guy, Anthony Volpe, a guy who I think it's inexcusable with how much he was hyped up as a prospect. The reason why they did not sign Corey Seager or one of those other top shortstops on the market 2 years ago in free agency was because they had Anthony Volpe coming up. Last 2 years, inexcusable. 283 and 293 on base percentage. A career average 650 OPS guy or around that. Not good enough. Simply not good enough. He increased his batting average this year. Again, he's a solid player. He needs to prove why he was so highly regarded as one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball. And he cannot be another one of those guys that the Yankees, another one of those prospects that the Yankees overvalued, didn't get anything from in a potential trade, and that potentially blocked them from signing someone who could have been more impactful right away. I'm looking at you, Oswald Peraza. Look at him. Look what little value he has. Still not in the opening day rosters. Not going to make it this year. What the hell is his value? Seriously. Does any one team in Major League Baseball want to take a flyer on him? I don't think so. That's another thing. Another bone to pick for me, from the majority of Yankees fans, is the fact that the Yankees just continue to overvalue these prospects. It's not smart, and it has continued to bite them in the ass. So, Volpe is going to need to have a good year. If there's one guy that we are all looking at to become the perennial leadoff hitter on this team, it's him. He started off the season last year looking like a completely different player. The Yankees put him in that leadoff spot, and it derailed his entire year. He's become one of the most streaky hitters on the Yankees. You know, he'll go through stretches where he's seeing the ball extremely well. He's walking a ton. He's getting on base a lot. And then he'll go through a stretch where he's 0 for 25. His on-base percentage is in the 100s, and he's one of the worst hitters in Major League Baseball. That's simply not good enough. He cannot go through those stretches if the Yankees want to place him in that leadoff role in the future. He's turning 24. He's still under team control for the foreseeable future. He's a guy who's going to need to turn around if the Yankees are going to be contenders going forward. He's that important to this team. 12 home runs last year, down from 21 his first season. He changed his approach, obviously. He went back to what worked in the minor leagues. Stop trying to pull the ball. He started using every corner of the field. Still wasn't good enough. WAR was still around the same. A large majority of that stemmed from being one of the best fielders in Major League Baseball. His OPS, still the same. So that clearly did not do anything for him. I understand the need to switch up the approach because it wasn't working in the first season. Did any fruits come from that labor? No, they did not. Hopefully he's able to figure it out. I mean, a mediocre spring training here. Maybe he's just a perennial good fielder, okay hitter. Like that, and that simply will not be good enough, considering what the Yankees sacrificed to help bring him up, to put him into the spot that he's in right now. So, without further ado, let me get to my prediction for this season. Of course, the Yankees made the World Series last year. First time in 15 seasons. Do I think that the Yankees return to the World Series? I do not. Do the Yankees win the American League East? I don't think so. I think the Yankees finish this season 90-72. I think they're embroiled in an extremely close race to win the AL East with the Red Sox. A team in which over the last 2 years has not given the Yankees any competition in terms of competing for the AL East title. The Red Sox have some of the best prospects in Major League Baseball coming up this year who all project to be part of this amazing rebuild, according to Red Sox fans. I'm not discrediting, the legitimacy of the majority of scouts in this league who consider the Red Sox farm to be among the best, if not the best, in Major League Baseball. But these guys are finally coming up, and it's going to be make or break. And instead of all these predictions and all this hearsay, as I like to put it to my Red Sox friends, we're finally going to see if these guys are for real or if they're not. I believe that the majority of these guys pan out, and the Yankees are going to be locked into extremely tough battles with the Red Sox to win the division going forward. They also brought in Alex Bregman, which I think is a huge need for them. A veteran bat. He's going to feast with the Green Monster. The majority of his power comes from, the pull side when he's pulling the ball. So I think that this is an ideal environment for him. Fenway Park. So I think that the Yankees are going to have trouble with the Red Sox all season long. I think the Orioles are going to be not so far behind both these teams, fighting for a wild card spot. I think the Yankees make the playoffs. What they do from there is anyone's guess. My prediction, though, they make the ALDS, and they're knocked out by a team like the Astros, because that's just how it works when the Yankees aren't playing AL Central teams. They feast in the playoffs against AL Central teams. Everyone else, they suck against. So 90-72, it isn't as big of a failure as the majority of people think it will be. I think there will be some enjoyable parts to the season. Am I excited going to the season? Not really. And that doesn't necessarily reflect in my prediction for the season. I think I could have been a lot more pessimistic. I think if you asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have said 82-80. I think I've come to my senses and realized that this roster isn't that bad. And there's a bigger potential. There's more potential for this team to be really good than really bad. Of course, there's a path to mediocrity. An 82-80 season. I do not foresee this team being as bad as people are making them out to be. An under 500 team. We haven't seen that at all during Brian Cashman's tenure. I don't think that changes this year. I don't. But do I think that Oswaldo Cabrera is a good enough option at third base in that lineup whatsoever? No. So I think a large part of the season's success hinges on, of course, the return of every Yankee who's injured besides Garrett Cole, because, as I mentioned, as you know, he won't be back until next year, the middle of next year. I think it hinges on the injuries of these players, and I think it also hinges on what Brian Cashman decides to do throughout the season or at the trade deadline to acquire a solid righty bat who happens to play third base. That's not Nolan Arenado, who is completely washed. Again, I'm not too excited about the season. I'm sure the majority of Yankees fans echo that sentiment and agree with me on that and find it very difficult to get themselves excited for this season. Will I be watching a lot of these games? Yes. After the NBA season's done, but yes, I will be. I'm watching opening day and of course, not as excited for opening day as it was last year to see Juan Soto in pinstripes. Not in pinstripes yet. They played in Houston. I digress. But it's largely up in the air as to how this season is going to turn out. Will the loss of Juan Soto completely change the feel to this team, the aura of this team, the fear that it imposes in opposing teams? Who knows? Who knows? I'm hoping for the best here, as are, of course, every other Yankees fan out there. I just dealt with so much bullshit with the Giants, and now the Knicks, who don't have as high of a ceiling as everyone expected. So hopefully the Yankees could prove everyone wrong. Aaron Judge could have another generational season. I think that could be far-fetched. I think it can be. That's another prediction. I don't think Aaron Judge is going to be nearly as good as he was last year and as good as he was in 2022. So, listen, I have no more to say about this team. I wouldn't say cautiously optimistic. I'm at least somewhat hopeful that the Yankees could have a good season. But at the end of the day, if they suck, they suck. And I can't say I didn't expect that. So that'll do it for this preview. More Yankees content coming later on this year. My focus is the Knicks, the Giants as well, as it always is. But I will be, getting some Yankees content out there as well. I have some guests on in the future, but we'll discuss them. And again, you could stay locked into my Twitter, my X, whatever the hell you want to call it, or this YouTube channel. I do plenty more live streams than I do these YouTube videos. So check those out as well. More Yankees content on that. I'll keep the videos coming as well. But yeah, check out whatever I've got going on. And if you watch this, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you all very soon.